Hey, Babs.
Hey.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Fancy running into you
Right.
in an enclosed space.
It's just like a cork.
Yes, it is.
So this is Willie Evans Jr., and he is one of the artists at the Cork Arts District, and a buddy from a while back. And he's always crazy busy, and I'll text him and say, "Are you here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm running out for lunch. When I come back," and like we'll get together on the fly. And when you put us together, we just start talking, and when we get into all these ideas, it's just like, so that's how I found out about your new project.
Yes, I have a project that I just finished. It's called The Brown Wonder. I'm really excited about it.
I got to see it already.
To give it a little perspective, it was born from this time last year when the protests were happening. And I had to have a heavy conversation with my son about something that he saw on TikTok, of course. And it pushed me into a space as an artist. You know, up until now, you know, I've been making music with the group I was in, Asamov, and doing solo work, and with a close friend of mine that passed recently, Peyton Locke. And so I've been making things that were more for just, you know, because I like it. Just whatever was funky or whatever was just cool or crazy, I would make it. And this kind of gave me a focus to make something that spoke to him or would eventually speak to him.
How old is your son now?
He's 12. He's 12.
So
at
that's
the time,
a very...
at the time he was 11. You know, we were having a conversation about the protests, and I asked him if he understood why the protests were happening, and his response was, yeah, because, you know, police don't care about black bodies. And I found that it was... It hit me in a way that it really was a tangible illustration of his innocence, like his...
and yet he's listening.
Yeah, and that he's aware. And, you know, the things that, you know, these are things that my parents taught me since I was little, but I wasn't in it until later. And because of the immediacy of information now, he's there already, and I felt compelled to create something that reminds him that there is this core element to the black experience that can't be, you know, taken away or transmutated, or you know what I mean? And that's where the Brown Wonder comes from. And
it's super effective.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
Either that or it's absolutely terrible, and there's only one way that you'll be able to find out. So.
I'm also excited about, I mean, the way I found out about the Brown Wonders, because we got together with my show, Open Hearted, when I told you how I wanted it to be an experience, like to go into Bab's lab and create an environment. We just started you started talking about how we could do projections of my art and photographs. And
yes, I'm very excited about the
idea of the heartbeat.
I'm very excited about trying to do something in the space around like mapping the walls and really bringing it to life with the stories you're going to tell and the things that you've been talking to me about. A lot of things jump out at me that would be cool.
And what's cool is that since it's at the end of May, I think it's going to be safe at that point to invite X amount of people into the space to actually witness it, and then hopefully we'll be able to stream it.
Yes.
See, I don't do this stuff well.
As long as the internet is strong. I don't have...
we'll get better internet.
I'm not powerful enough to make the internet, like, you know, but once I get there, I won't make anything else ever again. I'll just rule the internet from a mountain. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be cool. I think that your space is perfect for like things like projection mapping, and there are a lot of ways that we can tell the story visually as a backdrop to the story that you're and I've always seen the story pretty fragmented, pieces and reflections and philosophy and stories and mom's voice, and I
and I want to. That's how I want to build it. It's not linear in any way, because like my life and most people's lives just doesn't happen linear. You know. And
Did we talk about how we met?
well, we met through when you worked on Sanctuary.
Yes.
Summer in Sanctuary with Al.
Yes.
And I feel like I knew you before that, but I actually remember me.
You've always known me.
I have.
I just want to say a lot of ominous things. No, yeah, we met through Al with Summer in Sanctuary. I've known Al.
He would mention you.
Yeah, I've known him since I was a kid. We've known each other for a very long time. I am on a personal campaign to never tell the story of how we met, because he is on a personal campaign to always tell the story of how we met.
That sounds like Al.
So if you want to know, you got to ask him.
Yeah.
And hope that I'm not around to stop it. But yeah, we met through that,
Right.
and then we started working together when you got to Cork.
Yeah, there was
doing,
other things too. You did beats for, and then Chalk was the big thing.
Yeah. Did a lot of scoring for State of the Reunion, thing with
the podcast.
Yeah.
As a podcast, you're still available. It's great.
Yeah.
To listen to your story. Well, you have a wonderful story about your son.
About my son. I feel like I need to talk about my daughter more. She's cool too. Nora, you're cool too. All right. If you see this, you're just as cool as your brother. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So good. We have a rehearsal Wednesday night.
We do have a rehearsal
forget.
Wednesday night. I think that's going to be fun. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be fun. I'm bringing all the gadgets, and then we're just going to take some masking tape and tape all the gadgets to the walls and see which one of them
So Willie has
does something interesting.
Like a huge following, and yes, you do. In your world, you do.
All right. Yes. In my world, I am huge in my world.
Well, you have a lot of firsts for Jacksonville.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fact.
Okay.
It's a fact, but
No, not that. And you'll have more firsts, and it doesn't matter. You're not in competition with anybody, but you're.
I would imagine so. But I just like that. I'm always careful to. In my world, there are a lot of people who came before me and taught me how to do what I do. So I always like to acknowledge that, because while I am part of a lot of firsts, there were people that came before me to set me up to do those things. You know what I mean? So I'm always kind of hesitant to say.
You honor it. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So but. Yes, to respond to what you said, yes.
We've all been influenced. Yeah. We all need that, right?
For sure.
Mentoring is really important, especially in a community like Jacksonville.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just went to Savannah and got to check out some of the stuff there. And even when I go up to New York City, I always come back thinking, wow, Jacksonville has an amazing creative scene.
No, it does.
Artists are really hooked together. The talent in Jacksonville is amazing.
It is, and
it's getting more and more known.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, it's a little different now because all of our the mini communities are starting to come together and become like this larger thing, which is great. But there was a time in hip hop music in publications where there was an article published of the toughest cities to perform in, and Jacksonville was number one as the most fickle city. And I'm not saying that to say oh, Jacksonville is so much worse than. I'm saying that to say artists that come out of Jacksonville have this toughness.
Resilience.
We have this resilience that allows us to be able to do anything, anywhere. My first live set outside of Jacksonville was in New York, which is the birthplace of hip hop, and it was 700 people looking at us prove it. You know what I mean? And it was nothing compared to making weird hip hop in a city that already is. It's already they're already not. You have to prove it here already, and you're doing something that's not kind of going with the stream of consciousnness, generally speaking. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of prepares you. It gives you that resilience, like you said. So I think this could be me on the other side surviving that saying that it's good, but I think it's good. I think it gives you a little, you know, you need like the entire city to bully you psychologically so that you can be so that you can be good at
It
things.
motivates you sometimes. It motivates you. You need support.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it also motivates you.
Yeah. It teaches you that, you know, if you're making something and you have kind of sharpened your craft, there's a 100% chance that there's going to be someone who doesn't like it. But that also, on the inverse, means that there's a 100% chance that there will be someone who does. And you have to find, you know, thousands of people who agree with that person.
You know, I've coached a lot of people, a lot of young people and actors. I mean, that's one of the main things that I do. And we always talk about that if your head is thinking about how people are going to receive it, then your head is not on the character, it's not on the story. We can't control, it's subjective. If one person hears it and goes, oh my God, that's like the most amazing thing I heard. Somebody else sits there and it's like totally bored and thinking about what they're going to eat for dinner.
Right.
So, and I cannot spend any time with it. I have to be true to my craft and to the message or the playwright.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll have a much better chance to be received because people will hear my authentic voice and not that I'm distracted.
See, you should have been there when I was 18 and told me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. No, but I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
So, well, this has been lovely.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on to my show. And, yeah, I'll see you in about 60 seconds from now outside of this studio.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.